Hello, welcome back to Smallholding on a Shoestring. It's a beautiful summer's day here in the northwest of Ireland, where almost to the day it's been 2 years since my partner Becky and I started renovating a cottage and building ourselves a little small holding. In a previous video I promised a question and answers video to answer some of your questions. I've tried a few times on my own and it's been an absolute nightmare. Thankfully I've got my two nieces here and they're going to ask me the questions and I'll answer, rather than me trying to interview myself, which just felt weird, and I've deleted all that footage. So yeah, they're going to ask the questions. They've gone through the comments and found questions that people have been asking on a regular basis, and then there's a couple of questions which have been emailed. We've wrote those down as well. So they're in the corner setting up apparently, so let's go and see what they're up to.
Hi, I'm Isla and I'm going to be asking Luke some of the questions.
Hi, I'm Darcy and I'm going to be making sure he tells the truth.
Are you going to apply for the vacant property grant?
So the vacant derelict property grant is, I think that's what it's called, is a scheme where the Irish government will give you, I think at the moment it's €70,000 back if you restore, renovate a derelict vacant property. We are not actually applying for it because, well, a lot of reasons, but mainly because it's meant to be an absolute nightmare. And I know people that have applied for it and have got it, other people that have applied and not been successful. And one thing they all say is that you need to have the money up front. They're not giving you, you know, you can't spend a fiver and they'll give you 70,000. Basically you've to spend over that amount, and that's the maximum that they'll give you back. There's a timeline. That's one of the main reasons why we're not getting it. There's a time frame from when you apply to when your house has got to be habitable, and we didn't want to be constrained with time frames and all the bureaucracy and people coming around with clipboards and checking you've done this and you've done that. So, you know, I'm not disrespecting the scheme. Like I said, I know people that have been successful and it's worked great for them and they're getting €70,000 back. It's just not for us. If you are thinking of moving to Ireland and applying for the grant, look into it. It might be great for you. It's just not for us.
Are you going to make foraging videos?
No, I don't intend to do any foraging videos for the channel at the moment. I've pretty much spent my entire adult life talking about foraging wild food, whether that is through teaching people directly, courses, or online content, posting on my Facebook and such like. But I don't intend to do any on the channel at the moment. I still forage every day. I'm still always supplementing our food supply with whatever I can find. But at the moment I'm concentrating on learning how to grow my own food in a greenhouse and in our growing area, as opposed to food that nature has grown. But we'll see in the future. But at the moment, no, I don't intend to do any foraging videos.
How have the locals been?
So, being British and living in Ireland, and the history between the two countries, we were expecting a little bit of stick, but to be honest, everybody has been absolutely brilliant. We've only ever had a problem with one person, and typically she's not even Irish. I won't say what nationality she is, but the locals reckon that she's on the FBI's most wanted list, so there you go. But no, everybody has been absolutely brilliant. I think when you move to a different country, you just need to try and integrate yourself into the community a little bit. So for example, here on Good Friday every year, they have a local village litter picking, and I go to that. I go to all the auction marts, the cattle auctions, poultry, horse and stuff like that, and then created a good network of friends. And I think that's the most important thing. If you move to a different country, you need to try and enrich that country, so pay your taxes and get a good network of friends and embrace the local culture. Difficult for me because I don't drink anymore, so I can't go out and get 40 pints of Guinness down me, but I'm still embracing the Irish culture in other ways. The Irish are known for being a good crack and being embracing and welcoming.
Are the goats hard to care for?
As long as you can keep goats in, they're actually really easy to look after. As long as you can keep them fenced in. They are notorious escape artists, and they'll jump over fences, they'll go under fences, and in some cases they'll go through fences. As long as you keep them in and trim the feet, you should be fine. They're pretty easy other than that, but keeping them in is essential because they are a nuisance if you don't have them fenced in. But other than that, they're pretty hassle-free compared to some other animals.
How is the house renovation coming on, and do you have a plan for the house?
So the restoration works are coming on. Recently I've been plasterboarding the upstairs. I say we, you know your limitations. I don't know why I thought it was going to be possible for me to install 8x4 plasterboards on my own, so we've had a couple of local lads come in, and to be honest, it's been more a case of me helping out them every now and again. But within the next few weeks the upstairs will be done. So last year we did the roof and house rewiring. Now the insulation and the plasterboards are going in upstairs. So within the next few weeks there may be a video about this, as and when I think it's video worthy. It's getting pretty low now with that insulation. With that insulation and the plasterboard on, you know, I'm 6'2". I'm only short and it's still pretty low, so it's a good job we're both short asses really. As for the rest of the work that needs doing, I've got a full complete restoration plan wrote out here on the back of this cigarette packet. Now we'll do the work as and when we get to it, and as and when we can afford to do it.
What advice would you give to anyone thinking of moving to Ireland?
What advice would I give to someone thinking of moving to Ireland? Yeah, have you thought about Portugal? Don't get a good polytunnel. That would be my top tip. If you do move here, get a good polytunnel. Now, the weather is far worse than what you might think. You might think it's a bit of a myth that the weather's bad in Ireland. No, it is terrible. And I'm from Northern England, and I didn't think that the weather would be as bad as it was. I'm one of them people that thought it was just a myth, but it is far worse. Trust me on this one. No, my advice would be, if you're thinking of coming, visit as many times as you can and really check out the place, because I think it's just my opinion, but I think the area where your property is almost as important as the actual property. I know a lot of people are just focused on the property and that suits their needs, but does the local area suit your needs too? You know, I'm a sea fisherman, I do a lot of sea fishing, so I want it to be close to the sea. I like mountains, I don't like it flat. So we both like forests, so those are the things that we wanted. But my advice really would be visit as many times as you can beforehand, or move to Portugal.
How will you filter the water?
So I've seen a lot of water filters online, and I'll make a decision which one we're going to buy, which kit we're going to buy, when I plumb that water supply from the mountain back in episode 21 or whatever it was. When I plumb that into the house, that's when I'll install a water filtration system. At the moment, we're living in a caravan while we restore the cottage and get the cottage livable. We're in a caravan, so it's not really any hassle just going to the local village well, the holy well in the village, and filling up some milk cans for our drinking water. So yeah, that's what we do at the moment. So in the immediate future, not filtering the water. That will come later, and I'll make a decision nearer the time which kit I can get.
In episode 21, did you put the sheep's head in the water?
So no, despite quite a few comments on that video, I think it was episode 21, I could be wrong, where I pulled the head out of the trough in our water supply, which is up the mountain. No, despite all those comments, I didn't contaminate our own water supply for a few cheap views. For a start, my goal for the channel, my ambition for the channel was only ever to get to 1,000 subscribers and to earn €1. Way surpassed that, which has been great. But that was the goal: 1,000 subscribers, earn €1. So then my 14-year-old son could go and tell his friends that I was a proper YouTuber. Way surpassed that. Which has been fantastic, so thank you for all the subscribers, and every person that watches helps me earn a little bit of money from YouTube. So if you're watching and you don't like me, thank you. No, didn't contaminate our own water supply. And what you missed in that, I think you missed it because I set up a time lapse of me scooping out with a bucket all the water, and with each of those scoops was bones coming out. The whole sheep was in there. What a gruesome way to die. The poor sheep. But yeah, the whole bones were in there. There was only the skull that was intact.
Are the viewers ever going to meet Becky? Let's go meet her.
No, unfortunately, you don't get to meet Becky. She has told me in no uncertain terms is she ever appearing on a YouTube video. So, unless you want me to start wearing the wig, which is nice, no, you've just got to put up with me for now.
What would you do differently?
So, all the decisions and all the work that we've done on the property and the cottage have all been constrained by finances. So, although I could say, yes, I would do this different and I would do that different, there wouldn't be much different. There wouldn't be much I could do different because everything has been decided by finances. We pretty much spent every penny we had buying the property in the first place. We're not like some of these people that come over here with a few $100,000 in the bank and can just throw a load of money at it, which would have been lovely. And maybe if that was the case, then there would be things I would do different. Maybe some of the animals, that was good timing. Maybe getting the animals second would have been a good idea. And even the growing might have been a good idea to do, because there's a lot of jobs that I've wanted to do where I want to get on with a certain thing, but I've got animals to look after, you know, horse to muck out, goats to feed, dogs to look after. But well, to be fair, we already had the horse. The dogs we already had, although she was born here. So yeah, there's a lot of things that couldn't have been done differently, even if we wanted to. Although maybe looking back, there are things we would have wanted to do differently. The lifestyle has been an important factor for us. That was a big important factor in deciding to move here in the first place. Growing our own food, having the animals was more important to us. The lifestyle, the smallholding lifestyle was more important to us than actually just restoring a cottage. So that's really why the cottage is taking so long, and why maybe getting the animals and growing the food first wouldn't have been a good idea. So anyway, I'm waffling on. So I hope I've answered a few questions there that have been in the comments. If there's any burning questions which you want answering, there is an email in the channel description. You can always email me, and I always reply to emails, apart from all those spam emails people keep sending me. I do reply to the emails, and I always try and reply to the comments in the comment section as well. So yeah, if there is any more questions, if this comment section gets filled up with questions, I'll try and answer them there, or I may even do another video, a follow-up video in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.